How do you tell a good cake?
A good cake should be, and actually not just cake, food.
Yeah.
You should eat it with your eyes first. So a good cake should be looking nice. Then when you cut it, the texture and everything about the cake is good.
Right.
Because I don't know for what reason people imagine cake should not be
gift.
sold.
Yeah,
It should be given.
Yeah.
Like when people meet me, wherever we are, in church, or maybe you're traveling in a bus, they're asking, Muteru, you don't have cake? And sometimes I feel like, if I know you sell spares, Zagari, I feel like asking for a spare tire also for free.
Yeah.
A good cake cannot just rest there. Somebody must tell the other one and tell the other one. Word of mouth.
Yes.
You see, for young mothers, I would tell them, or young parents, nurture those kids. Somehow, that's why I'm even working with my daughter now. Yes, because she liked what I do.
Right.
The spirit of excellence has to rule your hands.
Classmates, kengele. Salimu, kengele. Ya kuanza class. And manze leo niko na sugar high. We've been eating cake and we are going to eat a lot of cake. Today is a good day in class. I am so excited. There's food in class, so I'm excited. But we're here to speak. Our teacher for the day is an amazing lady who has been in the cake industry for well over 2 decades. I'm so excited. She really brought in the style, and easy cake is gonna decoration crazy and designs. She kind of introduced that to the market, and I'm so excited to talk to her. Her name is Beatrice Muteru, but allow me, culturally I feel awkward calling her by her name. Allow me to call her mom. And yeah, man, these are the type of businesses I want to talk to. Hello, mom.
Hi, how are you?
I am good. Uko fiti?
Kabisa.
It's been a minute.
I'm super excited to be here.
Yes?
Thank you.
Wacha nikwambie, the people who are more excited that you're here are my crew guys, the guys working. Wanangojea hii keki tumalize, waishambulie. Are these real fruits?
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what?
Yes.
If I'm here, if Beatrice Muteru is here and there is no cake,
yes,
then it will just be a meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, but I needed it to be a party.
Yeah. So you represent fun.
Yes.
You represent fun. That's your world.
Kabisa.
So pali huko lazima kuwe na sherehe, lazima kuwe na keki.
There must be sweetness, smiles and satisfaction.
Was this your personality growing up?
Yes, that's the Joy Bells tagline. Yes, I can say it's my personality. I don't know before I knew myself. But from the age I knew myself, let me start my story at age 15.
Yes.
Because that's when a cousin of mine came to our home.
Yeah.
In their school, they were doing home science. And so they were baking.
Right.
In the schools I went to, whether in primary or secondary, there was never any home science. So I can't say I learned it in school. But my cousin, who is my namesake also, when she came to our home and baked a cake, alikuwa anataka kutulingia, yeye anajua something that we don't know. Yeah. I can tell you, I remember that cake. Even the smell, the aroma of that cake, I still sense it even today. I can see the crack that formed on top of that cake.
Wow.
And that's how my passion was born. From that age of 15 years.
Yeah.
And I have never looked back.
Wow. On this show, really, why I started these conversations, becoming CEO, was because when I started my business, I made so many mistakes. And that's because there were not so many people to learn from. Or the people were there, but the platform or where to find them was always hard. And I am always so excited to meet a Kenyan business that has been thriving for a long time. You tell me Joy Bells professionally has been running for 20 years.
Yes, it's about
but
20
it started
years.
way before.
Yes,
Tell me that journey. Ulianzia wapi sasa?
Actually, mine is a story of passion. It's a hobby that I developed into a business.
Right.
If you would have asked me at maybe when I was in Form 2 that this will be still standing and developed into a business, I would tell you are lying.
Right.
But I think there's nothing that beats passion. Because passion it's not something that you can do away with.
Yeah.
It is something that God puts in you, and then every time, wherever you are, it's like you want to do that. I wake up to do, my business is not something, it's not work. It is fun.
Right.
Every time we produce a cake and it causes a smile. You know, I think I'm in the business where everybody comes and they see their cakes. Like you guys have been happy here.
Yeah.
They are paying you money, but they are also happy.
Right. Yes.
Isn't that good?
That's a very good thing.
Because we go to kununua nyanya everywhere and we are complaining about the prices, but we still buy those products.
Yes. Yeah.
But that's how I started, and I think it's just passion. That's what I would say. And it's a hobby is what God has given you for free. And I think everybody has a hobby.
Yes.
Some have not discovered what their hobbies are. Some have discovered and they have ran with it.
Right.
So I discovered mine, and that is what puts butter on my bread.
Oh my goodness. What's a good cake? How do you tell a good cake? Is it the taste? Is it the decoration? What makes a good cake?
A good cake should be, and actually not just cake, food.
Yeah.
You should eat it with your eyes first.
Okay.
Before you actually even indulge.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
So a good cake should be looking nice. Then when you cut it, the texture and everything about the cake is good.
Right.
Like you want a good, moist, nice, juicy cake.
Right.
That's what you want to bite into.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. You speak so passionately about the cake. Yeah, I see when you say it's a hobby. It's something you love.
Yes.
And what was that transition? Sasa ulikuwa unapika keki for fun, but now at what point did it hit you? Hii ni biashara. I can actually make money from this. What was the first time someone paid you for a cake? How was that like?
You know, initially, and I think it happens to many bakers who are what we call home bakers. They start it as a hobby or passion driven. Then who are they baking for? Family,
Yes.
friends, church mates.
Yeah.
And most of the time, it's for free. Because I don't know for what reason people imagine cake should not be sold.
Yeah,
it should be given.
Yeah.
Like when people meet me, wherever we are, in church, or maybe you're traveling in a bus, they're asking, Muteru, you don't have cake? And sometimes I feel like if I know you sell spares, Zagari, I feel like asking for a spare tire also for free.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but the way to transition, or the way I did, initially I sold those, I gave to my neighbors. I again now started, because I had given too much, I started seeing, I think I need to start selling. So I started making cupcakes for sale, for neighbors. And you know what happens with cake? A good cake cannot just rest there. Somebody must tell the other one, and tell the other one, word of mouth.
Yes.
You see? So very soon, by and by, I was selling to actually almost the whole estate. Yes.
Wow.
Then I started now getting other orders because I was still working.
Yeah.
Yes, I had a day job. So I would carry cake to my office.
Right.
And then I'm also creating impact there.
Sorry, what was your day job? Sorry to cut you short.
My day job.
Yeah.
I went to school to study information technology.
Okay.
Yes. And so I was employed for a long time, actually 20 years.
Oh, okay.
Yes, at KARI, Kenya Agricultural Research Institute.
Yeah.
That's where I worked. But as I worked, I was still selling cake.
Yeah.
Yes. I was still doing wedding cakes, birthday cakes for my workmates and everybody who cared to buy. And so one day now, when there was too much cake and I had to weigh what is giving me more.
Yeah.
And I think cake was doing better.
Yeah.
And it was making me happy.
Right.
Not like my day job. So I had to think of what to do. It was so hard to resign, by the way.
Yeah.
So
Mshahara inakuanga comfortable.
ni katamu.
Ni katamu sana. Unaingia biashara hujui kama utakuwa
Yes.
yeah.
But finally, because I couldn't resign, I was trying to resign, and every time I tear my resignation letter, because of fear of the unknown. I don't know whether am I going to resign and then maybe nakikiumana, it doesn't work.
Yes.
So finally I just absconded.
You couldn't muster up the courage.
Yes.
Yeah.
By the time I was absconding, I had too much orders that my house was just cake everywhere.
Right.
And again,
for how long did you operate inside your house before you moved to a professional premise?
Say, for example, 10 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And I can't tell you it was easy.
No.
Because I have a young family. There's my children are doing homework. And I'm chasing them on the dining table, trying to also find space for my cakes.
Yeah.
And I can tell you I did some serious weddings that time.
Yeah.
Yes.
From inside your house?
Of who is who.
Yeah.
Yes,
wow.
Inside that house.
Wow.
Until now, there was so much, I had to really weigh. This, it's like cake is taking so much family time.
Yeah.
So God provided a way. Because I always say it's God.
Yes.
Because there was a photographer who came, our paparazzi. He had taken my photos of my cakes around.
Right.
So he was looking for me. He didn't know me personally, but he asked somebody where he can find me. And he's the one who came to bring those photos.
Right.
Then he asked me what I call the magic question.
Right.
The game changer.
Yes.
Why do you bake in the house? Yes.
Wow. Okay.
And I felt like that man. You know, I think we talk about destiny helpers. And this guy was a destiny helper. Because when he asked me that question, he didn't stop there. He went on to get me a space in where my present location, although I'm not in the same room, to make grow kidogo.
Yeah, lazima. 20 years lazima to grow.
Yes, but he went and got me a space and he called me. Please, can you come and we talk about this? Maybe there's a room that I would want you to see. And I thought he was bothering me because at that time, sijui anything about hiring renting a space or anything. I don't know those things. And can I tell you something? And I shock you. I didn't care about business permits. Those things I didn't know. And I started my business without.
Wow.
What I needed, and I think this is what I always tell people, I had a very strong passion to do just what I do and create the joy that I do, that I create.
Tukiwa tu hapo, your company name is Joy Bells.
Yes.
Joy Bells
Cake Center.
Yes, Joy Bells Cake Center. Where did that name come from?
That name has not come from my daughter Joy.
I was about to ask that.
No.
Oh my God.
When this guy called me, he went, I found him with the caretaker of the building. And they showed me a room on 4th floor of that building. And because I was younger, I let them walk in front of me and I was enjoying them because deep in my mind, I know I don't want to hire.
Yes.
I can't even hire.
Yeah.
I'm employed. I don't even know how to run a business.
Yeah.
But when we got to that room, room 38 on 4th floor,
right.
Let me tell you, it was so dusty. The dust in that room was this much. But I went and I stood at the window. Vile nilisimama tu hapo, it's like God talked to me. As far as your eyes can see, I will ring the bells of joy for you.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And I felt peace.
Right.
And that's how Joy Bells was born. Wow. So Joy Bells was born, the name, on that window. Wow. Yes.
That's quite the story. So how far back are you able to say the year you started like officially
the year
baking?
I transitioned.
No, not the professional one. The 10 years you were still baking from your house. So we're talking around which year?
We are talking about as soon as I got married.
Wow.
That was, I forgot.
Ay, 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 ay.
Oh my goodness.
This is a first. For the first time, a lady has forgotten the anniversary. Aya, Joy.
2000 and Jesus.
I am so
I started
happy.
my business in 2003.
2003.
Yes, I got married
There's some
in
people who are being born at that
1987.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Now,
Yeah.
the business,
Wow.
I was doing the business now seriously after 1987. Why? Because when you get married and you start raising children, you realize you need more finance.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's how now I started whipping some cupcakes and selling to neighbors.
Right.
Yes.
I know right now the landscape, the business landscape is better for women entrepreneurs, but for you starting then, this is in the 90s. How was that for you as a female entrepreneur who has no idea about business? You don't even know about business permits, and you're starting out already in an ecosystem that does not support a lot of female entrepreneurs.
And especially because the kind of cakes I wanted to do, because I'm a creative.
Yeah.
The kind of cakes I wanted to do, I had not seen them being done.
Right.
Especially, I make edible flowers. And I really love to see a beautiful cake with edible flowers and, out of what we call out of the ordinary cakes. So I think I just had to learn the ropes myself by observing.
Right.
And like I tell you, that passionate heart that I had, I knew I'm not going to fail. And every time, even today, every time I set my mind to do something, I must achieve it.
Right.
Whatever cake, even if I think of doing you in cake, I will shape you until people will look at you and will know it is you.
Were you always an artist, or this is a skill you developed? Like early on in life, were you sketching, drawing?
I think it runs in my family somehow.
Okay.
Because even my son is a pencil artist.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
And I found my parents also, especially from my mother's side, they are creatives. One of my uncles did the first dege. Na ikaanguka kwa muti when his name is Morris Tito Gashaba. He's always mentioned.
Oh,
he created an aeroplane.
Wow.
Out of a motorcycle engine. Right. Can you imagine that?
Yo, okay.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So I think it runs in me because I didn't learn my baking anywhere. No one ever taught me. I've never attended any class, but I teach. I have taught thousands of bakers today who are doing their own businesses, and I'm happy.
What type of home did you grow up in as a child? Were your parents entrepreneurial? Where did you learn this skill? Because I'm always, I've seen there's a relationship between people who end up in biashara, and they most probably grew up seeing their parents doing the same thing a lot of the times. Was that the case for you?
Yeah, it was a normal home. Of course, they were in business.
Yeah.
The kind of business they were doing is not what I do today.
Of course, yeah.
But my mother had a shop and we had a restaurant. And so we were involved in the running of the business.
It was already in the blood.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm trying to imagine, because this is now something I personally am struggling with, and a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. When you start your business and you have a very young family, how did you strike that balance? Because being a young mom and you're employed and you're running a business, and there's still family time, and these kids need to see you, and they need to... How did you manage to strike that balance? And now looking back, because I know now your kids have grown up, they've left the home. Is there something you think you should have done different?
I think as young mothers, because I was still doing baking as a young mother.
Yeah.
One of the things I did is to involve them into the business.
Okay.
Tunakoroga keki after homework.
Yeah.
We were baking na jiko ya makaa.
Wow.
So we are baking outside the house.
Yeah.
So like my firstborn really knows how to bake and learned to bake. He bakes even today.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. And I always say he bakes the best Black Forest cake.
Oh, okay.
Yes. And actually, he started also selling cakes when he was in campus. Yes.
Okay.
And so what happened, I nurtured them into the business.
Right.
Without realizing, because when you're telling them, hold here, add some unga, measure, weigh this, they will learn in the process.
Yeah.
And actually not just baking, every housework that we were doing.
Right.
Because also I'm a product of the same. Like the way when my dad realized I love to bake, he became my the cake taster. Yeah? Even ikitoka vibaya, he would not scold me that I'm spoiling the uga of ya chapati.
No.
One of the things he did actually, he even took me to an Asian family because he thought those people, they know how to make cakes. They had a hotel in Nyeri, and so they were selling cakes. So he took me there to learn cake deco. And they taught me. I think the only training I got was that time.
Yeah.
And he didn't just stop there. He would get me his drinking buddies. They were the first customers.
Yeah.
When they are renewing their weddings, he would tell them, Beatrice will make a cake for you. You see?
Wow.
And so he nurtured. I always say my dad is the one who nurtured this gift. By and by, he bought me an oven.
Wow.
Ya jiko ya makaa.
Right.
A good one that my mom would cook on top. And then there was a place to put my cakes. And actually, I became the village baker. Yes.
Right.
Every weddings would be arranged when Beatrice amefunga shule.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And I think it really used to make me happy because the money I got, my dad would, hata nikimpatia aongeze fees, he used to tell me hii pesa ni yako. That's how I was able to buy myself a good dress, a good shoe.
That's a good one.
Yes. So I always say he nurtured.
Yeah.
For young mothers, I would tell them, or young parents, nurture those kids. Somehow. That's why I'm even working with my daughter now. Yes, because she liked what I do.
Right.
Now she's managing the business.
And I love that so much. You just mentioned about the Asian community.
Yes.
And I talked to a couple of Wahindis, and I love the concept that you hear that a business has been surviving in the family for 3-4 generations. And that's something as Africans hatuja perfect bado. Just handing down the businesses so that your child is not starting from negative or from zero. They start from somewhere and they can keep on building that wealth. And I feel like that's something already you're doing. Is this intentional?
It is very intentional.
Yeah.
I didn't know. But later on, I realized after you are gone, who takes care of? Does the business die with you?
And that's very wrong.
You see, that's what we are doing vibaya wa Africa. But if we know, we need to learn to transition and try to make family businesses work. And it is on purpose now that I realized I need to get somebody who is able to know, to run the ropes. Maybe not necessarily a baker, because my daughter doesn't know how to bake very well. But she's very good in managing.
Wow.
She's very good in sales.
Yeah.
She's perfect in that.
Yes.
And actually, even in our YouTube, we are doing, in our YouTube channel, we started a segment called, we are asking people to come and taste our cakes.
Oh, wow.
And so we are calling it a bite of joy with joy at Joy Bells.
Hey, wait.
Yes.
I'm sure my team here is looking forward to when they shall be invited
They
to
can
taste.
come, all of them, and taste.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
This entrepreneurial skill that now you possess it. Now you're thinking strategically. You're thinking how I'm going to hand over the business to the next generation. So is this knowledge that you've intentionally now started acquiring? Because vile ulisema ulianza tu ulikuwa nataka keki.
But you see, along the way you get people to hold your hands. Because like how I got my first license, I never knew I needed a license. You can call me ignorant or what I was, I don't know. But a neighbor where the first Joy Bell's room was, there was a lady also who was doing wedding dresses. So one day the Kajo came around.
Yeah.
And so everybody, I could hear all the neighbors were closing. So she came and asked me, do you have a license? I told her no. But because I'm a woman of faith, I decided sifungi.
Okay.
Wacha waingie wanifundishe.
Yeah.
And they taught me. I asked them, what is it I need?
Yeah.
And they told me everything.
Wow.
And the following day, I went to their offices and I got the license,
Yeah.
the business permit.
Wow.
I got food and hygiene. And you see, now I got to know.
Yeah.
One of the beautiful things I decided, I will also be holding another person's hand. And that's why I am passionate about training bakers.
Right.
So whenever they come to my class, I teach them, this is what you need. At this level, if you can start from where you are,
Right.
try to grow the business and reinvest again.
Yeah.
Instead of, because I also started my business without any loan. And I surprise you how I started my business.
Please,
it grew
yeah.
from ile kaunga niko nayo kwa nyumba. Na ile tumayai niko nazo. That's how I started.
Right.
Then
No capital.
No capital. I didn't have capital. So I really don't understand when you people tell me I'm looking for capital to start business. Because me sijui hiyo.
Yeah.
Yes. I know how kujumulisha ile 200 umepata leo, 300 tomorrow, and you keep.
Yes.
The good thing, keep your records.
Yes.
Keep your records. Very, very important. Right. And also, along the way, I learned how to separate pesa ya Beatrice na pesa ya Joy Bells.
Ah, right.
Yes.
Right.
And when you separate that, you respect your business and the business will respect you in turn.
Oh, for sure.
And you'll see your business growing.
Every entrepreneur has that moment where they say, Nivyo, I'm quitting. Leo nafunga hii biashara natoka naenda. What was your lowest moment at that point and what kept you going?
Sijawahi pata.
Oh, wow.
Mi sijawahi pata hiyo.
Yeah.
Maybe if I didn't cross during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I think then I'm in it for the long haul.
Oh, yeah, because now during COVID, people
because
are not doing events.
I'm in the event industry.
Yes,
we were not baking, we were doing nothing. Yeah. But somehow, when people are at home, they were asking for a cake.
Yeah.
In their homes.
In their homes, yeah.
So, of course, we kind of cut down on stuff.
Yeah.
That was the saddest moment, I think, for me,
for
to release people because they needed this money. But I have seen it growing again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And again, I transitioned because, and this is something that holds us back. When to learn how to transition to something else. That is actually, during Corona period, is when we transition to real training.
Yes.
Because now we could train online. I moved to Geshagi with my husband and I called everybody to train. In Geshagi, I stayed 8 months and I had trained so many people.
Wow.
Who were actually baking. Was
that intentional to move back to Geshagi?
Yes, I was running away from coffee.
Makes sense. And yeah, Nairobi was too
bad.
It was too overpopulated. Something beautiful you keep mentioning is you training people, and unfortunately sijui kitu tutatoa kwa Africa. We have this notion that if I train someone or if someone learns from me, then biashara yangu itaanguka. But you're out here training 1,000+ bakers, and those people are coming into the same market that you're in, so they are going to be your competition. Or how do you see it for you? Why are you so comfortable with training?
I think if your flame will never go off if you keep lighting others.
That's beautiful.
And that's something that really I learned from my parents.
Yeah.
And I hold very dear. Because you see, there is no way, the market is so large. And we need one another. I tell bakers, more than competitors, we are complementers. We complement one another.
Yeah.
You can imagine, I want to deliver my cake to where? To Eldoret.
Yeah.
Along the way, because of our roads,
Yes.
I get an accident.
Yeah.
Maybe the cake gets
Collapses,
injured or
yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Now, how do I repair my cake? Who helps me repair when I get to Eldoret?
Right.
I'll need this person
Yeah.
who I know very well it's a good baker who can help me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm not even delivering the cake personally. I'm sending a courier service. And these things happen. We
Yeah.
have had them happen.
Yes. Yes.
And we get this because we are complimenters. We get this baker who picks that cake from the courier office
Yeah.
and then rekebish it for us and delivers a
Yeah.
beautiful cake.
Wow.
Isn't that good?
Yes. Yes.
So I think training is one of the best things that has happened because, like, for example, why I really wanted to train, I originated the Kyoto design in Kenya. Yes.
Yes. Wow.
The Kyoto cake
Yes.
design.
That was you.
Yes,
From
I
scratch.
originated that design.
Awesome.
Now, people started copying because we are copying.
Yeah.
We are copiers. We
Kenya.
really like to copy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But
for sure.
there's one part of that kiondo they don't know how to do. The handle,
Yes.
hii kamba ya kiondo,
Yeah.
and what is on the side. We call them ganago. They don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So, every time I would see somebody posting a kiondo cake with horrible
Yeah.
ganagos,
Yes.
I really would feel bad. So it's like God asked me, are you going just to stop there? That usikie tu vibaya na uache?
Yeah.
And it's like God called me. You can start holding classes.
Right.
And the first one I held, I told you, we didn't even have sitting space.
Wow.
For the kiondo.
Wow.
And so if you look at the kiondo cakes today,
Yeah.
they are good because now the people we trained went on to train others and others. And you see, I'm still making an original kiondo every time.
So it did not impact you negatively in your
Never,
business.
Never.
So hii keki ni kubwa, tunaweza kula wengi. The industry is big.
Yes, the industry is very big. And it's like now, the market also opened up to do cakes. We started saying a party without a cake is just a meeting. And so people started buying cakes for all reasons.
Yes.
When we started, there was no cakes like for Rurashio. These days, you can't go to a Rurashio without cake.
Wow.
There was no baby showers.
For sure.
There was no bridal showers.
Yes,
These days, cake is everywhere for every reason. In fact, there is a cake called for just because. Yeah.
You're near Gen Z.
Like this one.
Yes, just because.
Yes.
It just exists.
Just because I came.
Right. Wow. Mom, so wewe ndo unatupatia pressure kama wanaume hapa nje. Siku hizi kila celebration cake.
Ni lazima mnunue keki. Because sasa if you only eat cake during wedding, alafu, you must, like Enjoy Bells, for every wedding cake we do, we follow up to make sure they've gotten their first baby.
Cake.
We know there's an opportunity for cake.
That is customer. Talk to me about it, because now that is customer relationship to a whole new level.
And customer retention.
Yeah, because now you get to work with this person their entire life.
Yes. And we've had opportunities, many of them, that we are able to do that. Like, I don't know whether I can mention, but there's somebody who I baked cake when I was still in the house.
Yeah.
A big wedding.
Yeah.
He's one of the government people right now.
Yes.
And I did his cake. I have done his children's birthday cakes up to the last born. Wow. And now the last born, I think, is over 16 years.
Wow.
You see? And I'm still doing them. So something about retention. You deal with one customer, make that cake really good, that it will ask for another. The problem we do, especially in many businesses, you do one job right, and then you mess the others.
Yes.
So it's always good to be consistent in quality and in, in image. Very, very important. So that people always want to relate with you and with your product.
You just opened up my eye to how big and extensive the cake industry is. I'd never thought about it that way. For me, I've always viewed the cake industry like every time you have to look for a new client. But now, it's just blown my mind away because basically unaweza kuwa na clients for life.
Yes.
Because you start at their wedding cake, and then now after that, every birthday for every child, and those children grow, and they work in businesses where they're doing parties, and that's how oh my goodness.
And then you still get these children start getting children. I have seen that.
Wow. Hey, wait, sijui feel it sai tuanze kupika keki. That's amazing.
Yes.
Wow. Sorry,
but the industry has grown.
Yeah, for sure.
Initially, it was not like that. When we were starting, there was nobody who could train you, even if you wanted. Like those flowers I'm saying, I never knew how to do them. And the person I asked, the bakers were not willing. The people who knew how to do it were not willing to share the information. Of course, because of what they say, watakumalizia biashara. Yeah. But do you know how I learned? I used to pick flowers on the road, on people's compounds.
Right.
Then I go and remove every petal and work with it with gum paste. And that's how I learned how to do. I'm self-taught through and through.
You must have a level of tolerance and patience.
Yes. When it comes to cake. Maybe not many other things. Only cake.
Only cake.
Cake, I can do anything and I never get tired.
Will you say that's your secret ingredient to your success? That consistency and perseverance?
I think so.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a saying in Joy Bells, trust Joy Bells 100%, but I think that is 100%. And again, faith in God. Because the God who created us is a creative himself.
Right.
Yes. You can imagine he said, from nothing, let there be. So I always imagine, like when I was thinking about Kyodo, I had gone for fellowship somewhere. And this it was an old woman's house. She had hung the Kyodo. Then my mind started running. And it happens many times. You may think I'm still with you, but my mind is
that's a
on what
mind.
I'm seeing.
That's a creative mind.
So I looked at that cake and I took a photo. I went back to Joy Bells and I created that Kyodo.
Right.
Yes.
How is your day like from morning till evening? From when you wake up, how does your day look like? Because right now I'm trying to imagine your day. Like how many cakes do you bake in a day? And how do you manage that?
Joy Bells is known for out of the ordinary cakes.
Yes.
Like the cakes we do, if you look at our page, are not kawaida cakes.
Yes.
They are cakes that take time.
Yeah.
Now, what I do personally these days myself, because I have people to help me work, I create the designs. I come up with the designs.
Okay.
And I will supervise the design until it comes out the way I pictured it in my mind.
Right.
So, and I can do that for cake A, cake B, cake C, and on and on.
Yeah.
So, to Seme, these days we have wedding cakes, we have birthday cakes, we have rurashio cakes. Of course, work for bakers inakwanga from Wednesday, Thursday, towards the end of the week.
The weekend. Because
yes, and again, also it's seasonal, depends on the month. Although, for one reason, and I always say it's God's answer to bakers' prayers.
Yeah.
Even January, this year, we did very many weddings. Can you imagine that?
Watu watachoka the December wedding.
And again, people have also moved from Saturday weddings.
Yes.
We are having weddings Wednesday, Thursdays, Friday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how my day is. Creating and now generally managing the business. And looking out for what's new.
Yes. The few times I've traveled out of Kenya to other countries, man, the level of, it's not even cakes, just tunazitanga aje sasa, confectionery, no, do we call them that? Yeah, the cookies and whatnot, those people, it's like a mega industry, and a lot of the things I find there, they're still not yet here, and I'm just trying to think what's the future of this industry looking like? from where you sit, you've been a champion, and now just looking ahead for Akina Joy, what industries are they going to create?
I think cakes
Yeah.
also go with people's culture.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm. Mm.
Because what is in the first world,
Yeah.
it's what their palate loves to consume.
Yes. Yes.
Like the people in our country, we don't like very sugary products.
That is true. That is true.
So I've had people going out wherever and they eat those cakes that are so sugary, those cookies.
Yeah.
They look nice, but you can't bite twice.
That is true.
I'm sure you have had that
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
So when they come here, they say, oh, I really love your cake. Because like we have very many diaspora customers who just call
Yeah.
and we take their orders to take cakes to their families here.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, and when they come here, they really enjoy those cakes.
Mm.
And they have cake where they are.
Yes.
And they tell us our cakes are different. They want to eat home. And I'm sure
Yeah.
wherever you go, China, Japan, wherever, America, they love their tastes.
Yes.
Maybe
That's
they
true.
wouldn't really enjoy our cakes.
Yeah. I'm always curious about the what do we call it? The value chain, and and I've seen in Africa and in Kenya particularly, we are lower on the value chain. Like for example, in your industry, a lot of the ingredients you use to make the cake sometimes are imported into the country.
Yes.
Like I think one of the weirdest thing I found out was in Kenya we don't grow vanilla, and vanilla
you
essence is
imagine?
like the one thing that never
Yes.
misses in all cakes.
The basic, actually.
Yeah, it's the
It is a
basic.
basic ingredient, even as a build-up for other ingredients, for other flavors.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's who we are.
Is there a
But
reason by the way we
don't
don't
we
grow
have
vanillas?
other things that we are just different? That
Yeah.
even them, they are
Yeah,
wishing
true.
we have. Like the creative minds.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
That only, you see the Juakari industry.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
not anywhere else.
That's true.
But our minds, the Kenyan mind is very, I don't know, we are creatives. We can do anything we want to do. And that's something that is admired by many other bakers. Because I talk to bakers from wherever.
Yeah.
They admire what we do.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So even though we buy some ingredients from outside,
Yeah.
Kenyans also have found a way of making them local. Yes.
Yeah.
Like the pearl dust, the petal dust, people are making their own.
Right.
And they are working. You see what happens if you don't have something and it's expensive, because cake products are expensive.
Yes,
That's
they
why
are.
cakes are expensive.
Yeah.
People always find a way, and that's the Kenyan mind. How can I make it?
That is so true. That is
And
so
so we are finding bakers like Joy Bells. We are always having our research and development unit. Yes.
true. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
To research and come out with these things.
Ma'am, I love the way you're thinking. Like
Yes.
you're on a level of corporate thinking. You even have a segment for research and development.
Yes. This is like a unit. We sit
Wow.
and we research.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my
How
God.
can I make this? How can I do this? How can I do this?
That's how you stay competitive in the market, because you're always developing new.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Oh. Wow. Sorry, no, I was curious. Hiyo ya vanilla sikuelewa. So it can't grow in Kenya ama what's
I think it's a very hard crop to do. Maybe I have never known, but I think there's a place I found it growing in some Machakos place somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody was still trying it out.
Okay.
But why vanilla? To make the best taste of vanilla
Yeah.
from a pod of vanilla takes about a year.
Ndio maana Wakenya hatutaki
Yes.
kuinvest nayo. Yeah.
Like even in Joy Bells, we have put some pod somewhere. We are trying to mature them to see how it will be in 1 year.
Wow.
But vanilla is with our neighbors here in Zanzibar, so we still get it here in Kenya.
Right.
Yes.
For us in our industry, we always say that talent will take you before kings.
Yes.
What's that pedestal you've been at and you're like, my cake actually just got me to this space and I don't believe I'm here? What's the highest pedestal? Because I've met you at an event and this was our current president. It was our
Can you imagine?
Yeah. I was like,
They should take that again.
yeah.
We've done many. We've done many.
Right.
Maybe not people who we've done for big corporates.
Yeah.
Safaricom.
Yes.
We've done for banks. Done very many.
Right.
I may not mention all of
It's
them.
okay. I
but
understand because of client.
yeah, it is something that every time we do a cake to them, for them,
Yeah.
I always remember that scripture that your talent will take you before kings.
And did you ever think you'd get to that level
Never.
when you were baking at home?
No,
with your
no,
jiko?
no. Actually, where Joy Bells has gotten me,
Yeah.
it's every day a surprise.
Wow.
It's every day a surprise.
Yeah.
Like to imagine that people can come from, like when we are doing training, there's a class we call master class. Do you know we get students from all over East Africa?
Wow.
Yeah. And it really shocks me. Yes.
Yo.
Sometimes it really shocks me and humbles me because to
sure.
imagine that those people are coming to learn from you.
Yes.
What it makes me do is give it my best.
Right.
So that when I see their works, I'll be proud. I'll know Joy Bells is winning. They are selling, like when they sell, they are competition, yes. But when they sell, I think those are the best moments of my life.
So Philip is here. He wants to start and venture into the cake industry. What are like the 3, 4, 5 rules you'd tell me or you'd tell me to think about when I'm starting out as a baker?
Be a good baker first.
Okay.
Learn how to bake a good cake. Learn how to decorate.
Right.
Because to sell cake, you need also to learn how to decorate a good cake.
Yeah.
Get to know as many flavors as possible.
Right.
Yes, and get to do them right. Because cake, again, watu wengine wanatuharibia. You learn today and you want to start selling tomorrow.
Right.
And training tomorrow.
Right.
So you are training something you don't even know. So learn to do it and then the rest will just fall in place.
Right.
Because you'll see like you want to sell cakes. Obviously now you won't be the way I was without knowing that I needed a license.
Yes.
There are people like us who are holding your hands, though they will tell you all the licenses you need, depending again on your location.
Right.
Because locations are different, especially the counties these days.
Yeah.
So, and I always say this is a business you can start from home.
There's I know there's always this thing that we always say that business is harder for women. I don't know, I have this feeling that when it comes to your industry, I will trust a woman baking more than a man. Has that been the case for you? Have you had challenges because you're female in your industry? This is my thinking, my shallow thinking.
Have I had any I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so because, first of all, I call myself a go-getter. So there is no hard cap you put along my way that I will not surmount.
Okay.
Especially if I want to achieve my goal.
Yeah.
Whatever it is I want to achieve.
Yeah.
And so long as it is cake.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it is hard. It depends on your own self-will and how you take yourself. If you are on it and you purpose to win, I think you will win.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
But if if you remain original to yourself.
Okay.
The problem in the industry is that people want to start, you get to learn today, you learn to decorate tomorrow. Yeah. The following day you are training.
We call ourselves the microwave generation.
Yes, and you see, you want haraka. This thing has a life.
Yeah.
Yes. Because for the longest, I have waited for, to get those millions. But I think what I love is to invest back, and especially in human capital.
Right.
You say men, do you know men are the best cake decorators and cake artists?
Okay.
Yes,
Wow.
they are.
I don't know. We naturally trust women with food, but that's great.
They are. Men are the best. But they take longer to learn. But when they learn, oh my goodness, they can create you in cake.
Wow.
But I think it's about resilience. Wait, and let it grow with you. Do not wait ati uanze leo na ukue millionaire kesho.
Ukweli. Trust the process.
And that is actually where the young people are failing.
One of the biggest reasons I started this conversation was that because of social media. Mtu ataona umepost you're on holiday ama uko unaendesha this and this car and they think si basi nianze tu kutengeneza keki by kesho I'll be driving such and such a car, but they don't realize.
Yes, because I've had very many young people, even some people I've trained, they ask me, how have you kept at it this long?
Yeah.
Because maybe they opened a business, they invested a lot of capital in that business, and within 3 months, they are closing.
Yeah.
And when you ask them, they tell you they didn't sell or the business is not viable.
Yeah.
But people need to learn. There's an idea I learned when way kitambo that business has a life. It has an ABC cycle.
Right.
A is where you are investing. B is when profit kadogo kanaanza kuingia.
Yeah.
But many people they close their businesses
Before
there. Because hawakutaka hiyo kadogo. Walitaka nyingi.
Alafu kadogo you have to reinvest.
You have to reinvest.
Yeah.
But they don't know that C is coming. Yes, and C is what you'll start just enjoying.
I'm waiting for that C. I'm so waiting for my C. Wow. What is your stranger than fiction story? That weird coincidence that happened, that story that you tell people and people are like, hiyo ni uongo, but for you you're like, that was God, and that I don't know how that happened. I'm always curious because entrepreneurs always have that story once. Kuna siku keki ilidisappear na ikaapia kwa harusi magically.
I have several, but I will mention one.
Yeah.
That form the basis of what I tell my trainees when I'm training, and I tell them we are competitors, but more than that, we are complementers.
Yeah.
We baked this wedding cake. It was a 5-tier wedding cake.
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we delivered the cake. It was not even going very far. We are in Buruburu.
Yes.
But we were delivering the cake to Karen.
Yeah.
The cake reaches Karen. For one reason or another, all the icing had come out.
Harusi ya mtu.
Yeah, na ni harusi ya mtu on the wedding day. Can you imagine that? If I didn't die that day, I think I'm here for a long time.
Where?
Then I'm not in the wedding.
Yeah.
My people are.
Yes.
The young man who was with the cake called me. He's telling me, Madhe, keki imeundress. Then I saw the photo. I couldn't believe what is happening. But let me tell you, I always say teamwork makes the dream work. You see, because we have trained and we know one another as bakers.
Yeah.
We actually have something we call cell groups for bakers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
2 bakers in Karen, I just called them. They rushed there. Mwingine ana roll fondant, mwingine ameweka maua. Within no time, even the couple, when they were coming to reception, they didn't know what had happened. They worked in the car, and within no time, that cake was as good as new.
Wow.
Yes. It has happened to also a baker who brought a cake to Joy Bells just last month. Yeah. the cake aligoga bump, the cake ikaenda every piece their own directions. And then the customer, because she's the one who was driving, you know, the way we tell them, we tell you as customers, please put your cake kwa boot ama hapa chini ya gari. Don't put cake kwa kiti ya gari. That is the worst place to deliver a cake, to carry a cake, especially a decorated cake. So iligonga, vile aligonga break, cake nayo ikagonga kiti ya nyuma, ikatembea. Can you imagine what happened? It was a mess. So the customer started crying. And she stopped, and where has he gotten this cake from? All the way from Ruai. Can you imagine? Now she can't go back. So the lady called me, the baker. Please, there is this customer of mine, ako somewhere. Please, can she come to you? So she came to us. We refurbished the cake.
Right.
And the cake became as good as new. You could see her dancing.
Wow.
Yes. What happened? I got a new customer.
Yeah, for sure. Sasa huyo waroi pole kwake, but sasa.
So it happens. It goes on like that.
Right.
But there are many such incidences where you also take a cake and the customer is not happy for one reason or another.
Yeah.
And ziko tu, then you get a few nasty words.
Yeah.
But
it's life.
Kuvunjika kwa mwiko sio mwisho wa kupika ugali.
Spikes hiyo utafurahia. Mambo ya ugali hapo unatambua. It's you know,
naendelea tu, you learn. You learn from your mistakes and go on. You can't stop there.
Actually, because for you, you're in a very sensitive industry, because people ask for cakes for days that mean a lot to them. Completely. So one mistake,
it can be very bad.
Yes. I know personally as a company, we do coverage for events. Harusi tulikata. I was like, nope.
Because of
people are too personally invested in it. It's, oh, but so I imagine for you. Cakes, I mean weddings, those
it is good because over time now I have young people like my daughter to handle those now. But I tell you, it is bad. It can make you sick. That kind of pressure. It's too bad because, but apparently these days God has just, I think God hears our prayers. Not like I think, I know. Because there's a time I used to pray to God. Can't a bride just wait for their cake kwa ground? Ache kushida akisumbua coming to Joy Bells to see their cake, whatever. But do you know, I think for the last 3 years, we've not had a bride coming to Joy Bells to see their cakes.
We just order it.
Because they trust.
Yes.
So if your customers build trust in what you do, they will not nag you. They will not fuata you.
Right.
Yes. But also make sure you do the right thing.
Quality,
quantity, the spirit of excellence has to rule. That is what rules in Joy Bells.
Is that your mantra? Is that what you work with every day? Just repeat it again for
I tell my team every day, the spirit of excellence has to rule your hands.
The spirit of excellence has to rule your hands.
Today, in the whatever project you're doing.
Right. Can the spirit of excellence rule my hand? Nishike kisu nikate keki tafadhali. Mukami. Wacha tukate keki. Thank you so much. So much for your time. Again, like I said, I'm always so excited when I encounter businesses in Kenya that have been thriving for 30 years. Because uliniambia 10 years before you went to the professional premise, and then another 2
Actually,
decades.
I've done cake of my life. That's what I say. Yes.
So that, wow.
Yes.
You know,
all my life.
And you don't know how inspirational it is to our viewers out there, the younger generation, for them to see, I love baking, and I can make this my hobby, a business.
Yes.
And it can thrive and take care of my family for 30, 40 plus years.
Imagine.
That's amazing.
It works. And that's what I tell bakers. Be encouraged. It works. Usi give up.
Have you thought about franchising, like what they do with the Javas and the art cafes, where now
it's in the
works?
In the works.
Big deal. Hey, mom, nitakutafuta sasa. Wewe. That's amazing.
Thank you also for inviting us.
No. And we might be inviting you like every day because free cake.
Cake nayo ni lazima.
Hiyo ni lazima. Hiyo tutakuja kwa sana. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Salimu kidogo tu. Thank you guys for watching. Class today has been amazing. I hope you've learned. Manze, if you have any event that's coming up, reach out to Joy Bells. I'm sure Joy atatupea contacts tutaweka kwa description under the video on YouTube and Facebook. Follow, subscribe, Becoming CEO by Field Director. Again, I want to appreciate Longonot Place for this amazing apartment that they've given us, this space to do this conversation. Ni place fiti sana. Check them out. They have amazing rates and it's in the CBD. It's very accessible but very quiet and very niche. So karibuni sana. Yeah, sasa nataka tukate keki. Spike, sijui ni kamera gani utaleta hapa handheld tukate hii keki. As is there a skill, is there, unajua naonanga watu wa
nitawafundisha
utatufundisha
msiharibu next time.
Hebu tufunze. Nilionanga watu wa kinywaji wanakuanga na sijui certain rituals. Yeah,
I've always seen people cutting. People are used. How do you know to cut cake?
From here
like a triangle.
Yes.
Always.
Yes, that's how I cut.
Like that's how you were taught. You found cakes being cut that way.
Yes. Yeah.
But for us now, today, because things transition, so ni technology time.
Yes. Right.
Cakes they have layers. Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, you can sample a fruit. That is what happens. You introduce yourself to cake that way. Now you cut this way. You see? Why is that? Because cake iko na layers.
Okay.
You want to see the layers in your cake. Are you seeing? Because when you cut the triangle way, you don't see those layers.
Yes, right.
You just mess up, alafu unakata kikeki kikubwa. Then when you cut this way, unakata slice sasa.
Right.
A portion for every person.
Okay.
That way.
You've been cutting cake the wrong way. Well,
now everybody, you see this cake has this flavor.
Right.
It's a vanilla. And I think, vanilla and caramel.
Caramel.
Yes. So everybody, when they get this, they're able to eat all the flavors of cake. Now sometimes when you cut triangle, alafu unarudi kukatakata. Saa ingine mtu anapata tu ka vanilla, unabaki mwenzake huko anataka hiyo ya black.
Okay.
Mimi nataka hiyo dark.
Right.
Anatafuta. So this is the way to cut cake.
I didn't know that. I've just learned that. Haya, poleni nyinyi mko nyumbani hamtakula keki. Mimi nakula all the flavors. Thank you so much. And that's okay. Thank you.
That way.
Right. Sisi wacha tuendelee kukula. Cameraman, please watch us as we continue eating. Yes, thank you.